Hey everybody, thanks for coming to our first career spotlight. Glad to have everybody here. A little introduction about myself. So I am Parker Doubt, founder of the Information Security Collective, but I also do work at NetSPI as a security consultant. I've been at NetSPI for a little over a year now. Prior to that, I had a few other pen test gigs. But I'm really excited to announce and introduce Dina Soulek. She's a senior recruiter here at NetSPI. Been here for about a year and will be taking us through who NetSPI is, what a typical pen tester role looks like, and then touch on the NetSPI U program, which is a 6-month training program with the potential for a promotion into a full-time pen test role. Before we get started, can everybody hear me okay? Okay, so we can go ahead and get started. I'll turn it over to Dina.
Cool. All right, I think I'm off mute. Hope everyone's having a good day. Like Parker mentioned, I'm Dina Soulek. I'm a senior recruiter here at NetSPI. So in terms of who I am and what I was doing prior to this, I've always been in the space of technical recruitment, but pen testing and security were somewhat new to me. I've been more in the software development realm. So as I'm sure all of you know, there's a ton to learn here, especially for somebody who was quite new to it a year ago today, which is pretty crazy. So I wanted to take today to chat a bit about who we are, what we do, and our awesome NetSPI U program, which is pretty unique to the industry, as I'm aware. But yeah, so we'll get started. This first slide here is all about NetSPI. So who we are, I'll let you read off the screen, but in terms of additional information on top of that, we started in computer forensics and merged into pen testing over the years. 2001 is quite a long time ago in the grand scheme of security. We really have grown immensely since then. So having just a few employees in 2001 up to 70 in 2017. And then we were acquired by Sunstone Partners in 2017. So since 2017, we've had 30% year-over-year growth. So you look at our number of employees today, and that's actually a bit off. It's 250, maybe even above that by now. So growing quite rapidly. There's, something to be said about the industries that we work in. Obviously, some ones that stand out would be heavily regulated industries, but beyond that, there's a ton of reasoning on why and how we can break into, all industries in terms of the work that we conduct. All right, so what is pen testing? And I'm sure most of you on this call have heard of it or maybe doing it right now. So just wanted to cover just high level, our definition, what it's known as to the industry, and really in terms of how we go about selling, and that's at the end of the day, we're here to protect companies from potential breaches, security issues, anything that can come along. So we're paid to break into environments, applications, networks, things like that. Why do companies pen test? So again, I'll let you read through. It can be compliance driven all the way to proactive, and we hope it's on the latter end of that, in addition to compliance, why companies pen test and why they seek out our services. Ultimately, we're there to protect them from any sort of malicious experience with bad actors. So what goes into pen testing? Here are some of the primary ticks that we look for in terms of candidates that come to us. It'll be a bit different for each position that you're looking at, right? But non-technical, just to start, is huge. In a lot of technical roles, non-technical soft skills may be stressed quite a bit less. However, in a pen testing role, you're directly working with a client in some cases where you're going through like a kickoff call and laying out the land of the scope of the project. And after all that pen testing is conducted, then running through and discussing the risks that were involved in the test and what potential remediation efforts look like. So general communication skills, like email, phone calls, report development and delivery. So from putting together a report to delivering that yourself, to small and large groups. And it can be anybody from, like an IT manager in a very large organization to even a CEO at a smaller organization. Other things that come into mind are ethics. Obviously, we do things very responsibly because of the people who are irresponsibly hacking. So that's a huge piece of the puzzle in terms of making sure that that qualification is met and we're always staying within ethical bounds. Professionalism is obviously important when you're working with a client, when you're working just among your coworkers, just having the ability to respect each other. Again, we're covering very sensitive topics in the work that we do. So taking that into account as well as meeting client expectations. And then lastly, I've heard and understood that pen testing can be quite a puzzle sometimes in testing efforts itself. So never giving up, having that never surrender mindset and searching under all the rocks. Technical skills, I guess it can all kind of depend on which route you go in terms of service lines, but basic network admin knowledge and into depth of that as well, and having deep knowledge there. System administration within Linux, Unix, Windows, Active Directory environments, application development, foundationally speaking for web apps, pen testing is important. Among the different, there's plenty of programming languages, so maybe a little bit of all or depth within a couple is important. Offensive and defensive knowledge then. So this is all around types of exploits, social engineering techniques, how a bad actor would go about breaking into your system, thinking like that, and then doing it in an ethical bounds and reporting back on that. So whether that's system enumeration, going through and exploiting and escalating network protocol within the different environments, studying up on new attacks, new ways of research, or even general development exploitation and reporting back on that. As well as the last one, tools. I think that list can go on for quite a while. Some that we use would be like Nessus, Nmap, Metasploit, Kali Linux. Herb Suite is a huge one, as I come to understand. Some tools that NetSPI has actually developed that weren't or hadn't been there before, or Power Up SQL. We have a SQL injection wiki or run through as well. If you take a look at our website, we have a ton of technical expertise, putting out blogs, putting out research, working on open source tooling. So plugging that there would absolutely encourage, if you're early in your career or somebody who's looking to continue to evolve in their career within pen testing, NetSPI does a really good job at putting out research and tooling. So pen testing as a career, here are a couple of common paths. I'm sure this isn't one size fits all. It can look different for everybody, right? But generally speaking, you can go the internal route of coming up through like an IT group into internal security. A lot of the times, from my understanding, you go from blue team to red team. So you're more on the defensive, and then eventually you're able to then be the internal person exploiting the environments. On our side of things, security consultants. So having the ability to come in at any level, really, depending on your skills and experience, but the most common path, and I think the easiest path to break into would be an associate level, which would be our NetSPI U. So taking that 6 months of training, putting that into practice, then after you have the chance to get promoted, and then growing through all those different levels. It can break out into different paths too. So it's not like, again, a one size fits all. As people grow, maybe they want to manage people and have some client billable work, or maybe they want to work on research and development or exploitation development or whatever it might be. So really just sitting in the driver's seat of your own career and moving about through the different levels. So pen testing as a career, how to start. I think this is a huge topic in the industry right now. From what I hear and the people that I follow in the InfoSec community, the general understanding that I'm getting is there might be a lot of gatekeeping, but here are some tools, resources that you can go through and look at and help develop your skills. A way that we work around not looking for somebody who has, 3 to 5 years of experience plus certifications and all of those things, while they are really great, and we will absolutely hire into, security consultant, senior, principal, having the ability to hire people that even have wanted to make a career change in the pen testing has given us a lot of ability to do so through NetSPI U. So going off on a tangent, but again, some different ways to get started are like OAuth. That's a huge topic, something that all of the InfoSec community, as I understand, are using it. Web application, Hacker's Handbook, that's something that we use throughout our training here. Hack the Box, Hack This Site, Try Hack Me. Tapping into the community, so going through and following discussions like this is a great way to get connected with the community. I think that half of finding a job is networking in and of itself. Here's a plethora of trainings and certifications. Some that I've seen come through as of late would be like the offensive security certification, so OSCP, OSWE. Again, there's a whole list of those as well. And then other ways would be like going to conferences, which can be a good way to network, but also learn about some of the new developments within the community itself. So why be a pen tester? And this is coming from me, but from what I understand, it's fun. I can definitely speak to our environment and feedback that we get from our employees, which we, offer competitive compensation, but more than that, we offer an exciting environment where you can learn something new every day. You can also learn from some of the best in the business, which is awesome in terms of not, reaching or nearing that ceiling of knowledge and just continuing to evolve. So why NetSPI? There's a whole list of reasons from my perspective. Some of, the tried and true information though, if you will reference that bottom left quote, within, 2020, holding a retention rate of 92% within the security industry is almost unheard of. That's pretty great number to look at, even, generally speaking across an organization, but information security itself and security professionals are a highly sought after group of individuals. So not only is attracting and hiring employees important, but also looking at how you retain them and what environment, what healthy, fun environment you promote for them as well. So a couple of our perks up in the left middle of the screen, left side, and then some of our, mottos, so working hard, playing hard, and having a good team environment are some of the pieces that we incorporate as well. Why NetSPI U? So I'll take a few minutes to plug this training program itself. It's a very unique program within this industry. Not a lot of times will you see employers take the time to invest 6 months of training, time and money into individuals to really help them learn the trade, the practice, and then allow them to use that within a safe environment. So within mock environments, lab environments, reading through, handbooks, just like I think of a Bio 101 class. You're taking the class itself, and then you're going to the lab and applying those practical skills. So a couple of testimonials on the side from people that have gone through it. And then just a general overview of what it is. Again, I'll let you read that slide, but just from my takeaway, it really gives people the opportunity to fill in gaps within the pen testing world. There's a ton of information to learn. And I think we'd be the first to claim to say that you're not going to come out of that and have every piece of information that you need for the rest of your pen testing career, but it's a really good foundation to continue to evolve. NetSPI U frequently asked questions. So who leads it? You can, research some of those names. I'm sure a couple of them have some written blogs or something on our site, learning again from some of the best in the industry. And that's just 3, right? We have a pretty great big group that you can learn from along the way. Format of the class, I like to set the expectation that, it's an extension of the classroom. There's a lot of hands-on work, but there is also a lot of material that you read through, understand conceptually, and then put into practice. So just setting that expectation so you know what you're walking into, but the payoff that you get with the knowledge learned after is some of the best in the industry. Yes, it is a paid opportunity, and you get benefits that an employee would as a full-time employee with us. So it's structured a lot like a boot camp, a training camp, but you are a full-time employee with NetSPI. So after 6 months, what happens now? You get the opportunity to take a lab. You're measured across the whole training program, right? But taking a lab to get that sign off to move into a security consultant client-facing role, eventually solo without oversight, until you're comfortable though providing you the support that you need. What do we look for in candidates? So this will be one of my favorite slides because it hits close to home. I think for me and for what we've developed in terms of this program over the last few years, what we see works best is somebody who has a good technical foundation. So that goes back to like the application development, network administration experience, whatever combination of that you may have, and maybe some tooling experience with pen testing tools. And then mixing that with somebody who's really passionate about security. I would argue that no one of those 2 pieces is more important than the other. They ride pretty even keel. But to say that your technical expertise is really important, but somebody who's going to continue to have that passion for security and continue to want to evolve and learn new information and not stagnate is really important too. Along with that, I mean, if you have that passion, if you have that drive, more often than not, you're going to fit into our values and how we work as a group, which is also kind of that 3rd prong and pretty important too. From this, learning something new, if anything, making a good connection, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn too, and we can stay in touch.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time, Dina. Thanks everybody else for coming out and joining us today. We hope to do more of these types of sessions as well as other events. So just keep an eye on our different social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, got our website. Feel free to sign up. We have a Discord server where you can meet other members of our community, get up-to-date job postings on different options and positions that become available throughout like the different InfoSec roles. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Awesome. Have a good one, guys.